Cults are a mainstay in tabletop games, and with their outsized influence on media as a whole, that's no surprise. We're fascinated by the obscure, the deviant, and the violent. In TTRPGs, it's often useful to create an entity that either diverges from a setting's mainstream beliefs, or is otherwise so unconventional as to be hated. Cults can spark conversations about why some religions are acceptable while others are shunned, or ask players to draw a distinction between devotion and extremism. Far Horizon's Guide to Cults, created by Falconian Productions and published by the Far Horizons Co-op, hence the name, is an excellent example of the myriad ways cults can be inserted into any tabletop campaign to add intrigue and excitement. As part of their ongoing Kickstarter, they released 2 sample factions in their preview, which will be the subject of this review. After looking them over, I was impressed with Far Horizon's sample cults. Each holds unique beliefs and practices that don't fall into boring stereotypes and can be easily adapted into any setting. Do you ever think about nothing? Not just the coming night threatened by waning twilight. I mean the seconds in between heartbeats, the gaps in between words, the infinite space between an atom's nucleus and its tethered electrons. The universe is defined not by a majority of presence, but of absence. The Heralds of the Void are all about that. Through rituals and practices that emphasize absence and sacrifice, Heralds derive power through their brief connection to the void, making contact with nothingness and achieving supernatural abilities such as phasing through walls and shapeshifting. Sheltered in the Homestead Community Center, the Heralds diligently worship, forsaking the physical for a power that transcends being. Through careful practice and guidance by their immortal, possibly vampiric leader Seth Renatus, the Heralds seek to join with the void itself, uniting with nothing to become a conscious embodiment of absence. While I love the concept of worshipping the Platonic ideal of nothingness, I think my favorite part of the Heralds are the potential story hooks Far Horizons includes. While their beliefs may seem strange, I feel the hooks provide more characterization than one might get from only reading about their goals. For instance, one hook describes a famous hunter tracking down an eldritch horror that seeks to destroy your city, but the players would be recruited by the Heralds to try and talk the hunter down, since they believe killing this monster would somehow make matters worse. Similarly, another hook asks players to investigate the Heralds, since there's constant rumors about them trying to destroy the entire world. However, no one seems to know exactly what those plans are, and where those rumors came from. Far Horizons gives players multiple facets of the Heralds, allowing them to decide whether they're secretive cultists who want blood and destruction, or reclusive disciples who just want what's best for everyone. That willingness to see cultists as multifaceted people runs throughout the book, and it really eased my fears about playing into uninteresting tropes. We all know of a little town. Quaint, out of the way. If you hadn't already been there, you might never even notice it. And every time you visit, you get the sense that something is off. Maybe it's a whisper on the wind, or a curtain drawn too quickly, or an unblinking set of glowing eyes in the dark. We've all heard the stories about little towns, their local shames, the ancient pacts with rural gods, the ways tax collectors go missing when they wander into the woods. And if we know what's good for us, we don't ask questions when the trees offer answers. To the uninitiated, Redford Hollow appears to be an average small town, but anyone on the inside understands the community hangs in precarious balance. Through various deals, such as offering a child's first hair clippings or pouring out a cup of goat's blood, the inhabitants of the Hollow honor the others, folk gods as old as the ground itself. While the Hollow's social structure isn't a formal hierarchy, the town is guided by a group of elders, namely Brolefilmer, who ensure oaths are kept and secrets stay hidden. However, not everyone in the Hollow is happy with their hometown. Avad Talent wants to be free of this village, and has signed his own contract to gain the power to escape. I really like Redford Hollow as a cult because it's less a religious organization and more a group of people cutting deals out of necessity rather than reverence. The scope of the cult is not all-encompassing, but deep-seated enough in the town's culture that it has fostered resistance. That resistance against some of the Hollow's more repressive beliefs is completely justified, but creates an interesting tension, since the elders want to both hide the source of their town's power while also keeping the gods satisfied. The gods themselves are my favorite part of the Hollow. From the Old Man of the Root, whose inexhaustible patience governs the forests and mountains, to the half-slain sun, the fallen Queen of Joy who seeks to reclaim her stolen flames, each rural deity is evocative and hungry. The whole of Redford Hollow reminds me of the best parts of Midsommar, in that it's a tight-knit little community with aberrant customs and a simmering unease just waiting to boil over. While the cults themselves are the meat of the guide, I found Far Horizon's layout and execution of their preview stellar. Each cult has their major beliefs laid out and defined up front, so you can understand their core principles and how they shape the cult's behavior. Next, a few key NPCs are named, including their role in the society, any abilities they may have, and most importantly, their motivations. I really appreciate that the guide makes explicit what each cultist hopes to accomplish, since that's going to drive how a game master plays them and how they might interact with player characters. Each cult is given a list of resources, which can range from powers granted by their deities, to secret bases, to outsiders willing to work for the cult in exchange for forbidden resources. This works on 2 levels. First, to provide a quick and straightforward list of the threats and abilities each cult may deploy, and second, to integrate the cult into a larger world. By definition, cults are small, and though they may be well connected, don't have the infrastructure in place to act as a fully self-sustaining community. Even places like Redford Hollow that grow their own food still need to trade with merchants. Furthermore, it gives opportunities for a game master to lay the groundwork for the cult's inclusion in future sessions. Maybe your favorite fence offers a PC a strange magical artifact, and says they got it from some weirdos calling themselves the Heralds. Even if they don't follow up on that thread immediately, having the cults previously established in the world will pay off when they eventually take center stage. Lastly, the guide gives 5 unique story hooks for each cult, giving players flexibility around what aspect of the cult they want to explore. For instance, one hook for Redford Hollow has a player receive a message from the cult, either asking them to help someone escape, or calling them back to their hometown. Another hook has players investigate a splinter group within the Hollow who seek to resurrect the half-slain sun. While one hook asks your party to interrogate the secretive and communal aspects of the Hollow, another explores the fractures and diverging agendas that could tear such a community apart. Each story hook is interesting and multidimensional, and one is sure to appeal to your players' specific interests. Far Horizons makes clear that their latest project is a tabletop gaming supplement. While not exactly a setting book, their purpose in a TTRPG campaign would be similar. If you don't have the time or desire to write your own cults, the guide promises 13 additional cults along with the 2 I've reviewed here. Based on their commitment to unique ideologies, interesting characters, and ease of implementation, I'm really excited to see how the other factions turn out. When this review goes up, there won't be much time left in their Kickstarter. If you feel your tabletop game needs an infusion of mysticism, intrigue, or frankly, just ideas for really cool NPCs, I suggest you back this project as soon as possible. You'll be supporting a great organization and receiving a high-quality product that you can use for years to come. Hi there, thank you so much for watching all the way to the end if you got here. I really appreciate it, and I just want people to know Far Horizons Co-op is a profit-sharing organization, and I think it's a really worthwhile one to support. So if you're interested in anything that I said in this video, please go check out their Kickstarter before it's too late. Also, if you liked my video, please tell people about them. I think it's the best way to see that others are interested in indie TTRPG criticism, and, you know, makes me feel good. You can find me on Twitter at AaronSXL, where I tweet about tabletop RPGs and writing stuff. And you can listen to the podcast I do at Mortified Pod and The Bible Boys. On Mortified, we talk about various media, and we just covered the Forgotten City, that time loop game from 2021. And on The Bible Boys, we just talked about the Keanu Reeves film Constantine, which was very weird. Anyway, thanks so much for your time.